Hello. So I'm back again with some more tips and tricks on how to become a better writer. This video is going to be about 20 ways that you can become inspired. And I have a list here right in front of me so that I make sure I say everything. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so here are 20 ways to inspire yourself for writing ideas, basically. Number one, go people watching. And there's a lot of places that you can go to do this. The mall, for you younger folk who like going to the mall, that's a great place to go people watching. Just sit in the food court or something like that and go ahead and watch people. Or you could go to, I don't know. How about we can go to the movies? That's a good one. And just watch people when you're in line and see what they do. So yeah, people watching, that's the first one. The second one is pull from your own experiences. So if you've had an experience, or maybe you know someone that's had an experience with something, one thing or another, then use that as a way to come up with some writing. That was the third one. Pull from other people's experience. Number 4, fan fiction. I'm not a huge fan of fan fiction. I know that sounds weird. I'm not a huge fan of fan fiction. No, I don't really like fan fiction because it's usually pretty corny. I mean, to put it lightly. You know, just maybe it's just the stuff that I've read, but you can write fan fictions. Number 5, you can create spin-offs from existing stories. So if you like a TV show or whatever, make sure you don't infringe upon any copyright things. So make sure that you're not using the same names or the same places. You can use the same places. There's no copyright on that. But just make sure that you're not like straight up copying. Number 6, reading. So whatever you read, you can generate ideas from that. Different stories or books or magazines or whatever that you read, you can generate ideas from reading. Number 7, watch movies. So a lot of the time you can actually get ideas from movies because movies usually turn into movies because of a book that was already written or an idea that could have been a book. Number 8 is you can get inspired by animals or pets in particular. I love my dog. My dog lady, she is pretty fun to get ideas off of. So, my pet. Number 9 is take people's suggestions. So if somebody says, "Oh, you should write about this topic or that or whatever," try it out. You never know what's going to happen, and not only that, but it could be definitely a resource that you can tap into. Number 10, brainstorm. I mean, but don't just brainstorm by yourself because it's hard to generate ideas by yourself. You brainstorm with someone else. Tell them kind of along the lines of what you want to write about. So say you want to write about a couple, and people can bounce ideas off of, like, by volleying with you. Number 11, write about your dreams you dreamt overnight. That's can come out with some funky stories. I've had some weird dreams. Like, I always had dreams about falling or getting left behind. I hated those dreams. So yeah, you can write about your dreams. And number 12 is kind of similar to that, but just write about things you daydream about. Oh, so there's that boy you daydream about with the girl or whatever. Write about that and make up a story about it. Number 13, I know it's going to sound bad, but eavesdropping. So if you're like out somewhere, so the other day I went to Starbucks and I was listening to different conversations that people were having. Not necessarily, I don't really care about what they were talking about, but it was just the idea of listening to the different stories that they had and the things that they were going through or whatever it was. One table, there were 2 guys and they were making plans. Like, so yeah, we're going to meet up for dinner later and this and that. And I could totally come up with a story about something, you know. That could go in a lot of different directions. There was another table they were totally gossiping about some girl, and I don't know who the girl was, but they were gossiping about some girl. There was another guy who was sitting by himself who looked like he was either watching a video or something or another. There was another table that was close by me, and they sounded like it was a job interview in a noisy Starbucks, which I can't imagine that being good. But you get what I'm saying. So basically, eavesdrop on other people's conversations and kind of get an idea of the stories that you can make up from that. All right, so number 14 is a childhood memory. So you can generate ideas from a childhood memory, something that happened to you, or so on and so forth, or maybe a childhood memory of someone else's. So I know that there's a lot of different things that happened in the past to the older generation, and so like I talk to my grandma a lot, and I speak with my mom, and they're from the era where there was that that racial tension, and my grandma's always very, very, very reluctant to have relationships with certain people, and I think that has a lot to do with the era that she grew up in. And my mom was on the tail end of that, so she kind of got to see a little bit of it. And so those are memories that I can write into my story and describe how my generation is a lot different. I do experience some things, but it's not nearly as bad as far as like racial stuff or whatever. That's a hot topic right now. Number 15, a job experience. So if you had a really sucky job experience, write about it. Just as simple as that. Number 16. I don't know if I said 15 last time, but that was 15. So 16 is write about your fears. So if you're afraid of snakes or spiders or germs, write a story about it. And have your main character have the same characteristics or fears that you have, so that way you can inject your own personal experience and feelings into that character, and it makes me more relatable because there's surely someone else out there that is afraid of the same thing. Number 17, hypothetical situations. So if there's a hypothetical situation that you want to see yourself in, or you want to see someone else in, then do that. And for the sake of being respectful, just protect the people by not having the same names. I know it's tempting to blast people, put them on blast on the internet, but that could lead to a lot of cyberbullying, so don't do it. Number 18, children. Write about children. And like my son, I have a toddler, and he's almost 2, and I get a lot of my stories based off of some of the things that he does. Like the other day, he was trying to put a sock on his foot, and I thought it was really cute. And I could write up a children's story based on trying new things and learning new things. And there you go. You have a whole children's book about kids learning. Number 19, nature. I live in a fantastic area where there's lots of